The final race of the first half of the regular season set to be run here in Season 4 of the NNSCRA Duracell Cup Series. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Seth Cole, and welcome here to Fuel Motorsports Park. It's the second time this season that these drivers will head onto a track with a dirt surface. First time was at Springfield earlier on this season, where we saw K Batson go to victory lane, and now we'll see who's going to be taking the second dirt track checkered flag of the year. Not only is there a potential playoff spot on the line for the eventual winner here today, but there's also a guaranteed spot into this season's All-Star race, which is the next venue for these drivers. As mentioned, this is the end of the first half of the regular season. We then have All-Star race break, and then begin the 13-race home stretch, what we call the chase towards the chase for the championship. But obviously, every driver in this field would like to make sure they're going to be locked into the playoffs regardless of what happens in the next 13 races, so they've got an opportunity here today. On the pole position is going to be the Castrol GTX Dodge Challenger of J Qualls. Qualls is looking for his first victory since back at Pukekohe last season. Qualls is starting on point coming into this race, 8th in the point standings as well. Picked up 6 spots in the standings after last week's race at Darlington. So J Qualls has got a lot of momentum. He's going to start alongside of the defending champion of the series. That is J Lopes. Now Lopes has been very consistent this year. Hit a bit of a bump on the road last week though, when he didn't have the best of finishes at Darlington. Dropped 4 spots in the standings down to 13th. But both of these drivers are looking for their first win of the season. The defending winner of this race lines up right behind them. That is going to be J Llamas. Llamas won this race 1 year ago when driving a Toyota for Michael Norman Motorsports. Michael Norman Motorsports moving over to the Mustangs this season, but Cody would love to go back to back. Cody coming into this race currently running in the... I saw him and I just lost him. Cody is currently running in 21st in the standings, so it's kind of been an up and down first half of the regular season for him. And alongside him is going to be the only 2-time winner in the series so far. That is the number 28 of T Wright, who, remember, got his very first career victory back in Season 1 at a dirt track, Lakewood Speedway. Getting ready to go green flag racing here today, though. Let's go down trackside and get those most famous words in motorsports. You can check in the description below for your full starting lineup here today at Fuel Motorsports Park.
Drivers, start your engines.
2 of our former winners here at Fuel Motorsports Park are in the field here today. We already mentioned to you about J Llamas. His Michael Norman Motorsports teammate Michael Norman also took a checkered flag here back in Season 2. Looks like he's going to be starting towards the rear of the field, though, is Norman. So we're going to have to see, with 50 laps on tap today, if it's going to be all about starting track position, if it's going to be all about pit strategy, or will we see drivers be able to work their way from the rear of the field up to the front? Of course, we're coming off the heels of an incredible race last week at Darlington Raceway, which saw that track go a perfect 4 for 4 in giving a driver their first career victory. Last week, it was J Deaver picking up his first Duracell Cup Series checkered flag. He is now currently locked into his first playoff appearance, jumped up 8 spots in the standings, up to 9th in points. Battle for the points lead going to be good here today as well. Dylan Young, 1 point over Adam Garcia, 6 over Jacob Thibodeaux, and 7 over Jack Mitchell. 12 back to Benny Watson as J Qualls brings us down. Green flags in the air, let's roll at Fuel. Qualls and Lopes continue side by side as they're almost 3 wide back there. Shelton up the middle, and Lopes is going to take the lead from Qualls. His teammate going to try and move into second. Still 3 wide. J Llamas on the bottom, which, as we saw in the non-charter race, is not the preferred place to be. Oh, give room! Oh, C Sandfer gets forced up into R Acosta. He's going around. He clipped C Friesen. More drivers trying to avoid as everyone scatters through the dust. C Oscon comes sliding in. I see M Haas in the 8 back there as well. Several other drivers just came sliding in, and C Sandfer just got into the back of the 6 of Zach Rogers. Spinning the Bang Energy Dodge around. And I think he went up and may have gotten Phil Parker a bit. There is M Oscon in the 70. Saw the 8 of Michael Haas going around, or Matt Haas rather, going around. He had damage. And now they're all stacked up back here. I think these are drivers that when the caution came out, they were behind the start-finish line. They got to catch up here. Last week's winner, J Deaver, was caught up. RJ Bishop, Cole Baker in the 11. Our non-charter winner, Michael Wayne Robinson's back here. Nathan Ormond's got damage. Jose Millz got damage. Adam Garcia, second in points, has got damage. A lot of drivers sustaining some damage from this one as everyone tried to scatter around the very congested front straightaway, which has walls on the outside and inside, all the time trying to drive through a dust cloud, hoping there wasn't going to be a car on the other side. Jordan Lopez leads the way here under the first caution of the day. Let's go back and see what happened. Well, this just looks an awful lot like what we saw with our earlier caution in the non-charter race. 3 wide inside line car doesn't give room, forces the middle car, which in this case is Charles Sandfer, up into the top side, which was where Ryan Acosta was running. There's the contact between Sandfer and Friesen. That clip right there sends the 37 car around right in front of K Batson. Then everybody's trying to avoid, trying to scatter. They're 5 wide there on the front straightaway, trying to avoid a little contact there for Carson Gum. Jack Mitchell in the 0-1 getting a little piece of it as well. But then further back, I think Sandfer gathers it up here. Further back, yeah, Samit Ozkan, he's going to get punted from behind, it looked like, and I don't know who it is that gets him. Oh, it was another wreck actually that took place. Watch the 91 of Charles Belding. It's like he may come up and get hooked by Samit Ozkan up into Cole Baker. Then Ozkan comes down across the nose of Ryan Butcher. He then noses it into the inside wall. Patrick Smith, left side of your screen, going to get a little bit. And then Samit Ozkan comes sliding in. Matt Haas is on the brakes, trying to avoid everything else ahead of him. He gets hit from behind. That's where Rob Evans is going to get collected in the 65. Smith gets a little bit more contact there, and then all these drivers going to get some cosmetic damage. The 23 of Adam Garcia, the 12 of RJ Bishop, and the 98 of Jose Millz. Just squeaking by on that outside line there is the Hot Wheels Ford of Michael Norman, a former winner here. He's got some hood damage, as did the 45 of Nathan Ormond. And let's see if we can find out what exactly happens here with Zach Rogers in the 6. Now, I think what happened was when the caution came out, the leaders had not quite gotten to the start-finish line. So Charles Sandfer was coming to get his spot back. And I guess Zach Rogers was just in the way. Zach's down here on the pavement. There's Sandfer. He's coming up to get his spot back. Oh, and then Rogers kind of comes back up towards the dirt. And I don't think Sandfer realized he was going to do that. Rogers gets punted up the track. Some contact there for the front end of the Old Spice Ford Mustang of Phil Parker as well. Well, Rogers, wherever he crossed our finish line, that's where he will still be, but he did sustain some damage there, and we'll have to see how that affects him for the remainder of this race. We're back just in time for the green flag on lap 6 of 50. J Deaver is a lap down, had to spend a little extra time on pit lane getting repairs done, so last week's winner, currently going to be -1 to Jordan Lopez, who gets us back underway over his teammate T Wright. J Qualls was 3rd, 4th Austin LaPlante, J Gardner completing the top 5. And we'll see now if these drivers will settle into a bit of a long green flag run. Well, as soon as I say that, we're back 3 wide again. They're splitting. J Deaver, Jesse Turner, and Jessica Shelton were the 2 doing that. Now it looks like things starting to get a little bit settled out, at least towards the front. Man, you can't even see! Couldn't even see what was going on there off of turn 4. You still hardly can see. All that dust getting kicked up into the air as Carter Friesen trying to make his way around the slower machine of J Deaver. Now he gets swung to the outside of by Ryan Acosta and Dylan Young. The points leader right now, Dylan Young, running in the 14th spot. Almost got into the back of Ryan Acosta there in a battle for 13th. Mentioned about the fact that K Batson won the first dirt track race of the season back at Springfield. Right now, he's got his 39 in the 10th position. Benny Watson, who lost the points lead last week after getting involved in a wreck at Darlington, a track where he had won at earlier on in his career. He's right now in 9th, trying to regain that points lead back. As battle between teammates may be on for the race lead. You know, it's an interesting scenario. Obviously, it didn't come to fruition, but if Chris Dollerton had made this main event race, then all three of the former winners of this track would have been from Michael Norman Motorsports here this season. Dollarton the winner in Season 1, Norman the winner in Season 2, Llamas the winner in Season 3, as the caution is out for the second time today. Saw the 0-1 of Jack Mitchell was on pit road. He got put a lap down. Michael Norman on pit lane along with RJ Bishop. Nathan Ormond's on the inside of the track. I don't know who this one was for. Most of the drivers I'm seeing with damage already had the damage from the earlier incident, and pit road is going to be a busy place. Apparently the fuel window may be open for these drivers to make it the rest of the way. As stated back in the non-charter race, we didn't really know how far these drivers could go because it was a 20-lap sprint, 50 laps here, and everybody's taking the opportunity to come down pit lane. Let's see if it's a fuel-only stop or if they're going to take on tires. Tires are not all that important at a dirt track, but they may take on those Goodyears. It's like right side tires. 2-tire stop for these guys. And we did have some strategy going on here. I think Pedro Lucas, oh no, actually Pedro's a lap down, as are Mitchell and Deaver. So those are lap machines staying out. Austin LaPlante wins the battle off pit road, so he's going to be the leader when we go back green over Keith Batson, Trey Wright, Johnny Gardner, and Dylan Young. Jordan Lopez going to fall all the way back here. Outside of the top 10, I think he came off pit road 13th. So that changes things up quite a bit. Austin LaPlante, let's not forget, his last victory, if I recall correctly, was one of the Chili Bowl duels back in Season 3. So he knows how to get around a dirt track. He'll be the leader when we go back green. Let's find out what brought out this second caution of the day. Well, we were just talking about Austin LaPlante being a former winner from the Chili Bowl. The other driver that won the other dual race was his teammate Jacob Thibodeaux, who is the reason for this most recent yellow. Carson Gum, William Brock, and Thibodeaux, all three wide coming off of turn 4. Thibodeaux is going to get the short end of the stick here. It's hard to see him through the dust cloud, but there he goes around in front of the field. Caution's going to wave for the second time today for a solo spin involving the Circuit City Chevrolet of Jacob Thibodeaux. Well, later on this year, we're going to be having the Chili Bowl come back, but here today at Fuel Motorsports Park, we might as well call this the Dust Bowl. After these drivers have rubbered in this track and taken most of the moisture out of it, I don't know, it's just complete zero visibility for us up here in the booth, and I'm almost wondering if it's zero visibility for these drivers out there on the track as well. Which could be leading to a lot of these three-wide situations. Drivers having to make quick moves, not realizing the car is there, and then next thing they know, they're all trying to fight for the same piece of real estate off the corner. But it's going to be Austin LaPlante, the race leader. He's got the machine of Pedro Lucas, who's on the tail and lead lap ahead of him. He's got a number of lap machines to his inside, including Ormond, Bishop, Mitchell, Deaver, and Norman. And he'll have Keith Batson on his back bumper, as it's going to be Batson, Wright, Gardner, and Young. The completion of the top 5. Green flag back in the air here at Fuel. Way up the track there through 1 and 2 goes LaPlante. Trying to slice and dice his way through traffic. Keith Batson right behind him there in the 39. Battle on for third. Actually making for the lead. Batson trapped LaPlante on the bottom. Can he get alongside off of turn 4? Well, we're still left with a mystery because we can't see through the dust. But he does. Still side by side though. Batson's going to have the preferred exit off of turn 2. Looking to clear LaPlante, but LaPlante battles back at the bottom. Batson, though, will take the top position, heading for turn 3. Trey Wright moving into second. Obviously, he doesn't want to share that number 1 seed when the playoff points are reformatted with anybody. If Batson were to win today, the two of them would each have 2 victories and would carry 10 bonus points into the playoffs. Whoa! Johnny Gardner cutting a break there to Trey Wright. Got on the brakes for him. Caution's out. We're racing back. Third caution of the day coming out on lap 15. And that means that Pedro Lucas and Nathan Ormond are going to be back on the lead lap. So a very timely caution for the both of them as Keith Batson brings them around out of turn 4, and he'll receive the yellow flag. Not even halfway, already third caution of the day coming out. And this one's going to involve the former winner from Fuel Motorsports Park, Michael Norman. Looks like Rob Evans, making his first career Duracell Cup Series start, may have been collected up in this one. Samet Ozkan, his engine is gone. Samet Ozkan in that 70 machine making his fifth start of the season, and his day is done. His day is over. I'm expecting the same will be said of Michael Norman. As race leaders are coming in, some are electing to take strategy and stay out. Batson, LaPlante, T Wright, and J Gardner all came to pit road. Dylan Young stayed out. Turner is in. I think Young may have been the only one of the lead lap cars that actually decided to stay out. Oh, and Jacob Thibodeaux in the 33 was also collected up in this one. Let's go back and take a look at what brought out the caution for the third time here today at Fuel Motorsports Park, as the points leader now is going to be the race leader, maybe when we go back green. Again, turn 4, rears its ugly head, 3 wide situation. This time it's Shelton, Rodriguez, and Norman. And at this point, the track's going to be really blocked up. William Brock, nowhere to go. A lot of damage on that son of a Chevrolet. And then just watch this, everybody. Again, the visibility problem. Everybody comes flying in, not knowing where everybody else is. Rogers into Rodriguez. Thibodeaux, hard hit. Charles Sandfer is going to get clipped. Rob Evans is going to get clipped. Matthew Rodriguez just went through the pit wall. Did anybody just see that? He just went through the pit wall. Okay. There's where Samet Ozkan gets involved. He gets into Michael Norman. Had some drivers on pit road here. Phil Parker, Kyle Mathews, and Ryan Butcher. I think they may have all come down pit road to avoid the wreck. Jose Millz might have gotten a piece. Matt Haas in the 8 was involved. This is a big wreck. I want to go back here and figure out how in the world Matthew Rodriguez was able to bend space and time. He found the one area on the racetrack where there's an opening in pit road. Well, he took some hard shots there, though, too, did Rodriguez. Take another look here, coming off of 4. It's really weird at a dirt track because even when you're turning the car left, it wants to go up to the right. That's why Shelton and a number of others that have been on the inside line, why it looks like the car's not even turning, why it's going straight off the corner, because that's literally what it is. You're doing so much counter steering that coming off the corner, when you're turning left, you've been counter steering to the right so much that the car itself, the rear end of the car, wants to turn up the racetrack. That's what makes it so treacherous being inside these 3 wide situations. There you see Matthew Rodriguez. Look at that. No commitment line needed. Already on pit road. But that brings out the caution for the 3rd time here today. This is the biggest wreck we've had so far, and this could very well be starting off drivers that will not finish out today's race and will be suffering a DNF. Well, we got a lot of cover here as we're getting ready to go back green on lap 20 of 50. Dylan Young's the race leader over Benny Watson, Ryan Brommer, Michael Rood, non-charter driver, up in 4th, and Charles Sandfer currently in 5th. A lot of drivers are off the lead lap back here as the green flag is back in the air. Jessica Shelton, Kyle Mathews, they were on pit road last time around. Ryan Butcher there on the tail end of the lead lap in the 78. A lot of drivers had to come down and make some unscheduled pit stops under these green flag conditions and have fallen a lap down as a result. Drivers that will not make it to the completion of this race, though, Zach Rogers, Samet Ozkan, and Michael Norman have all taken their cars back to the garage area. Right now, we currently have, I believe, 30 cars on the lead lap, including Ryan Butcher, who is currently ahead of race leader Dylan Young. Watson trying to close in for 2nd place. Ryan Brommer under fire from Michael Rood. How impressive is this for Michael Rood? Making his 3rd start of the season, 1 top 10 in his 2 starts. Right now looking for his first career top 5. Charles Sandfer was involved in a wreck early on in this race. He's battled his way back up to the 5th position. Keith Batson now back in 6th. Right now, Jesse Turner in the 7th spot. He's about to be under fire from J Gardner for that position. And then it's going to be Carson Gum and Ryan Acosta right now completing the top 10. There's the 19. Ryan Acosta there, former champion. Woo! Pushed up there going into turn 3, almost into the door of Carson Gum. Sandfer trying to make his way around the lap machine of Phil Parker. Not going to be able to do it. Parker had the preferred outside line. Three-way battle for the lead, perhaps. Dylan Young, Benny Watson, Ryan Brommer. Well, Brommer loses a little ground there out of 2. Watson all over the back bumper, though, of Dylan Young. Dylan Young, former winner this season at Atlanta. Benny Watson looking for his first win of the season. These two were duking it out for the points lead last week at Darlington. Dylan Young, of course, winning that exchange as Watson suffered a DNF. These two are separated by 7 points in the standings. Dylan Young, the points leader. Benny Watson, 5th. As far as our other drivers that were up in that conversation to maybe leave Fuel Motorsports Park as the points leader, Adam Garcia, he is still on the lead lap, although he's got damage. 23 is currently scored in the 21st position. Jacob Thibodeaux, who we saw have that spin out and get involved in that wreck afterwards, he's currently a lap down in 37th. He was 4th in points, 6 points out of the points lead. And Jack Mitchell currently trapped, I believe, the first car 1 lap down in that 0-1. He is 31st. He came into this race 7 points out of the points lead, as Watson, who ran really wide there up in 3 and 4. Now, as that is the preferred line on exit, it's not the preferred line on entry, and that allowed Ryan Brommer to start closing up to his back bumper for the second spot. And the thing I'm wondering here is, Dylan Young did not come to pit road under that last yellow. Keith Batson in the 39 did, giving up the race lead. So if these drivers are close on fuel, Dylan Young's going to be more at a disadvantage than anybody else. Might have been banking on the fact we were going to have another yellow flag. We went back green with, what, about 30 laps to go. We only ran 20 laps in the non-charter race, so we don't know if these drivers can make it 30 laps or not. See if we can find a battle back here. There's a couple of battles between lead lap and lap machines, but nothing really amongst lead lap cars. Here's one. That's teammates J Qualls and Ryan Acosta, and Qualls overdrove the entrance of turn 3. That's going to lose him a spot to T Wright. And now Austin LaPlante trying to move on by. LaPlante up to 13th as Qualls struggling there with the damage on the hood of his Dodge Challenger. James Qualls, the pole sitter for this race. Costa trying to close in on 10th place, currently being held by Jordan Lopez. Lopez, the defending champion. 13th in points coming into this race. Wants to win a race to lock himself up a spot to defend his title. Here's a battle. This is 8th place. Keith Batson in the 39. Jesse Turner in the 47. Batson, former winner, 22nd in points coming into this race. Turner, a former winner in his own right at Pikes Peak, is 11th in the standings coming into today's event. Johnny Gardner trying to make his way around Cole Deaver. This is not for position. And as he's having some difficulty, that's allowing Carson Gum to close up. That's going to be a battle for 6th place momentarily. Keith Batson and Jesse Turner starting to join this and make it a 4-way fight for a spot just outside of the top 5. And up at the front, Dylan Young cannot get away from Benny Watson. 75 is still there. Ryan Butcher is kind of one of those people saying, hey, come on, where's the yellow flag? I need one. If a caution were to come out right now, Ryan Butcher would be able to come back around to the tail end of the field on the lead lap. Let's actually find the 2 drivers that were able to benefit from that caution coming out earlier on, getting back on the lead lap, and see what forward progress they have been able to make. It looks like they haven't made very much progress here. Actually, where even are they? I believe Nathan Ormond was 1. He's in 26th, but there was another driver that got back on the lead lap, and I can't find him. Did we have more drivers out of the race that I hadn't even noticed? Oh, there it was. It was Jack Mitchell. I guess Mitchell was trapped 2 laps down at the time. And got one of those laps back. Now we still only have Rogers, Oscon, and Norman out of the race as things currently run, and we're about to reach the 15 lap to go threshold. Dylan Young, last season, was a 3-time winner. A lot of people were looking at him as maybe the favorite to win the championship just based on the regular season he had. And Dylan Young trying to join T Wright as a 2-time winner here in Season 4, but still the question of fuel. Can he make it to the end if we were to go green the remainder of this race? Benny Watson right behind him in second. With Dylan Young going to victory lane in Atlanta and leading the points right now, he's in good shape to make it into the playoffs. Benny Watson, let's not forget what happened to Benny Watson last season. Undoubtedly the most consistent driver all year long, but he couldn't find victory lane. And because of that, since we had more than 16 race winners up inside of the top 30 in the points, there were no playoff spots available for drivers to point their way in. So subsequently, Benny Watson was unable to battle for the championship. And Watson's been very strong here in the first half of the regular season, has pretty much been up inside of the top 5 all this time, has led the point standings for a number of